There are thousands of types of playing cards on the market. Today I'm going to show you 5 levels of playing cards, starting with the cheapest I own and ending with the world's most expensive deck of cards. In order to answer the question, does price really matter? Starting with the Peach Air playing cards. You can currently buy 24 of these decks on eBay for about $9. That makes one deck worth about 30 cents. The handling is okay for things like dribbling, but when you try and do a fan, the cards just clump together. It is not a pretty affair. But for me, it's this back design I absolutely love. It's so bad that it's good. Like, it's literally just a picture of an aeroplane, and if you haven't worked it out yet, Peach Air is an airline. I think a defunct airline, actually. I don't think it exists anymore. Would I ever perform with something like this? Absolutely not. But will I keep it in my collection? 100%. This deck is not going anywhere. And with that being said, let's move on to the next deck of cards. Next up, we have the green Bicycle Riderbacks. This is obviously a colour variation on the classic red and blue Riderbacks from Bicycle. The deck handles perfectly for dribbling, and fanning is much better than the last one. Apart from a blank card, the faces are all pretty standard, but you also get a double backer that's green on one side and pink on the other side. That was definitely a surprise. And then you also have a regular green and green double backer. With these 3 cards included, I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that this was designed with magicians in mind. And I really like it as a twist on a classic looking deck. This deck is going to set you back about £4 or $5 US, so it's still really cost effective for the performer who wants to buy in bulk, but let's take another step up. Next up, we have the red Remedies. And while there are pink, black, blue, and green Remedies, I've gone for the original red ones, because this is a deck you really can't go wrong with. This deck goes for about £15 or about $18 US, and of course the quality is absolutely superb, not just in terms of handling, but the actual design. Although the faces look pretty standard, which I think is a good thing because you want to be able to use this as an actual deck of cards, there are actually lots of subtle tweaks throughout, and it's a design that's had a lot of thought put into it. Overall, it seems to be one of the favourites in the Magic community, and I can really see why. Red Remedies get a big thumbs up from me, but let's keep going. Next up, we're heading into the premium playing card range. This is the Ladymoon deck of cards from Art of Play, going from upwards of $60 US. The box is covered in gold foil on every single side. It is absolutely magnificently designed, but it's when you crack the cards open that you start to realise the amount of design work that's gone into this. Question is though, is it actually worth the money? And I think that it's a really interesting question. Why are playing cards priced the way they are? Well, as someone who has produced my own deck of cards, I can give you a bit of insight into the breakdown of the actual costs it takes to make a deck of cards. So here we have the full scale right the way from Peach Air to Ladymoon cards, and we're going to take a look at what actually went into the production of each deck. Starting with the first main cost you come across when you make a deck of cards, which is design. So, the design of the Peach Air playing cards, well, if you take a look at it for 5 seconds, you can tell that the designer or designers were not paid very much to make this deck of cards, which is completely understandable. In terms of the Bicycle deck, well, the Riderback design already existed. All the designers had to do was change the colour, so again, not much design work has gone into it. But then you come to the Remedies, and this is a completely original back design, and a really well done one at that. But then you come to the Ladymoon cards, and not only is it an original back design, it's also original faces, and a really intricate design inside and out, so clearly a lot of design work has had to go into making this. The next big cost is of course printing and production. And in terms of the printing and production of the Peach Air playing cards, this is very, very low quality. The box is thin cardboard, the cards are plastic and horrible. These were clearly intended to be given away for free to passengers on flights, right? So the production cost did not need to be very good because people weren't expecting anything of quality. In terms of the Bicycle deck, well, this is actually very good quality, which might confuse you. How can it be so cheap and really good quality? Well, you also need to understand that it was produced in massive quantity as well, and this is coming directly from Bicycle. So Bicycle are the only people that need to make a profit on this deck of cards. Whereas something like this, which was printed by the United States Playing Card Company, so they need to make profits, was also produced by Madison and Schneider, so they need to make profit. In terms of the Ladymoon cards, well, take a look at the production of it. There is different types of printing here. There's gold foil, there's embossing, there's a lot of different techniques being used, and so that raises the production cost massively. So generally for playing cards, those are the sort of rules and the sort of costs that go into producing them. But there are some that are an exception and that break the mold ever so slightly. Decks like the original Jerry's Nuggets playing cards, they're not technically the best playing cards in the world, but they're so sought after by collectors that they can go for upwards of £800 online. Daniel Madison a while ago put a deck up for sale for £52,000. And while fortunately no one bought it at that price tag, nor was it worth £52,000, it got me thinking, what is the most expensive deck of cards? Some people would argue it's the Jerry's Nuggets. They haven't been artificially priced at £800, they are priced at that much because some people are willing to pay that much. Some people would argue it's the Daniel Madison one-of-a-kind deck, but I beg to differ. Because this, right here, is the most expensive deck of cards in the world. Because it's currently on sale on my website for £1 million. That is right. This makes it officially the most expensive deck of cards in the world, sought after by absolutely no one, but it is technically the most expensive deck of cards in the world, and that's all that counts. Because ultimately you can break the price of a deck of cards down as much as you want, but at the end of the day, it's up to the creator how much they charge for it. And so this is worth £1 million. Because I say it is. So there we have it for this video. Something a bit different, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. And if you did, make sure to hit the thumbs up button down below on your way out. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I do anything and everything to do with magic, so if you like magic, make sure to subscribe and join the channel. We are almost at 19,000 subscribers, I believe. We might have even hit it by the time this video is out. That is crazy. That is honestly unbelievable to me. Thank you so much for that. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.